The entire scientific community found out that if you put a platypus under UV light, they glow the color of Perry the platypus. They glow that exact teal,
But only
which
if
is
they're
the
wearing a
strangest thing
fedora.
that's ever happened in my life.
Hi, I'm Kristen Maldonado from Pop Culture Planet. You guys have been a part of Phineas and Ferb for the last 18 years. I'd love to hear about how the characters have evolved as we get into this new iteration of the show.
I've played Phineas for, 17, 18 years now. So Phineas has been a huge part of my life. And what's been wonderful about this show is that it has such an incredible audience. We've always had reasons to play these characters again, even in between the period where we stopped doing the episodes of the show and when we did the feature film in 2020, Candace Against the Universe, because we also did crossover episodes with Milo Murphy's Law, where I got to play Phineas again for that. I've worked on the Chibiverse, which is also on Disney Channel and Disney Plus. And so Phineas has never been too far away, but the first record that I ever had coming back to do new episodes of the show was definitely like an emotional experience. I was really moved and excited because, like I said, I mean, 17, 18 years is a really long time to do anything or to know someone. And I've known all these, these wonderful people I get to work with, and I've known this character for so long. And so it's been really fun getting to be back doing this job every week. I hope we get to forever. It's been amazing.
I had to do a 3-month deep dive to really try to recreate the essence and the subtextual context that I need to bring the Perry sound into life. So. And that's actually that's a quote, like open quotations, DEE, closed quote, P, dive. That's a deep dive.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. You know what's really fun? When we started this, I think it was 2008 that we went on the air. Yeah. And my daughter had not been born yet. And now my daughter is 16. And so it's very fun playing mom, talking to someone. Now Candace is a whole different person to me. Like I kind of imagine. And now I'm like, oh, I kind of know this person in 3 dimensions. Isn't it weird, Ashley, now that you have kids doing it too?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. We were in the studio the other day doing press, and Vincent was like doing a little like IG story, and he did his voice, and he showed Dan doing his voice, and he's like, and Swampy's here, and he did his voice, and then he came to me, and I just said hi. So it's like, honestly, I'm like, literally, Candace is my voice. I think the only difficult thing is Candace's craziness has so much energy. So when I was younger, it was so easy to tap into that. Obviously, I'm older and I have 2 kids. And to be honest, the whole season, last season, I was pregnant with my second. And all I kept thinking was, I really hope this baby understands this is not real life outside. It was like screaming and crazy. And it was just like, I could only imagine her in my womb being like, what is happening out there?
And my mom is really high strung.
Your daughter was watching like episodes from the womb. Yes. I know we're not supposed to do an aside, but you're so brilliant as Candace, and that's been so much fun watching episodes. Oh you are, I mean, everybody. But
it was really funny too. Actually, the other day, I thought I was pulling one over Dan and Swampy, and I said to Vincent, I said, I never read a script before I come into work. And Vincent goes, what? And I was like, I never prepared a script. Like I never read the script. I always just came in, and I still do today. I just come in and I start reading the lines. And I was like, Dan and Swampy didn't know that. And Dan goes, yeah, we did.
I said, it didn't matter because it works so well. There's no way we were going to mess with it.
It's the genius.
I don't care how you get there. It's fantastic. Yeah. I'm just going to let it go.
And I'm just thrilled to be involved with this wonderful family of people, to have been invited in to play. That's, to me, getting to come back to it after a couple of little things in between, and now to be a part of the series proper, I thank my lucky stars.
Now you're fully adopted by the family.
Yeah.
Like, we're signed. You're our first.
All the legal papers have gone through. What I think is funny, especially with Allison and Vincent, when we started with them, they were little kids.
Yeah.
And now they're fully grown people and all that. And somebody said, are you going to be able to have the same actors back to do the voices? And it's like, they've been doing it the whole time. They'll probably be doing it long after I'm gone.
Yes.
There's 2001 million days of summer vacation.
Yeah.
May you speak that into existence.
How do you keep your voices in fighting shape to play these characters episode after episode?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I mean, I think everyone's process is different. But I knew because I've been working on the show so long, and because I started on the show when I was a teenager, and I've always been doing a character voice, like as you guys just heard, it's not my natural voice. Um, I did a lot of voice lessons and vocal lessons. Like I studied with an opera coach to figure out different ways to utilize different warm-up techniques and how to extend my range in different ways. And so I did my best to do as much preparation as I could do to make sure that I could not just use this voice for all the conversational things that Phineas has to do, but I sing a lot of music on the show, and so I have to sing a lot as Phineas. We build things that are very loud and very big, and we are in the sky a lot, and I have to be yelling for a lot of these sessions. So it's something that I took a lot of. I intentionally took a lot of work with it and made sure I could do it. But then I also just learned a lot from working with a lot of these really talented voice actors, like and looking at their process and seeing what works for other people. So it's been a lot of different things for me personally. I don't know about you guys though.
Yeah, I warm up.
I feel like such a slacker now.
Yeah, I didn't. I watched some old videos of Walter Cronkite.
Oh, is that who he is?
That's who I stole the voice from, Walter Cronkite.
Yes.
It's my bad
impression of
Walter Cronkite. The funny thing is now, too, Vincent was talking again, a couple of the actors, Vince and Allison in particular, were really young when we started, so we weren't using them as other characters. But now, in the new seasons coming up, like Vincent it appears in tons of episodes as lots of other people because his natural voice is so different now from his kid voice. Allison's the same. She used to just be able to do Isabella, but now, Lady in Store, all these different miscellaneous characters. We have them doing all these other voices.
Yeah, I love getting to come into the booth and they're like, "You're not just playing Phineas today. We actually have like 5 other characters.
We need you to be a Druselstinian traffic cop."
Yeah, that's such a fun. It's a really fun like acting exercise too, to have no idea who these characters are about to be, and they're like, "Now make a different voice."
A lot of people ask if Doofenshmirtz hurts my voice, which he doesn't. Really, like I can do Doof for 2 hours straight, pretty easily. Monogram, because it's so low in Swampy's voice, he can do about 45 minutes before it starts to hurt. And when we did Milo Murphy's Law, we sort of switched that over where I was the low guy who would talk down here like this, and I could only do that for about 40 minutes before it would hurt. But Doofenshmirtz is all head voice, so it doesn't really hurt my vocal. It sounds like it hurts. It's a very painful, but it's more painful to listen to, I think.
And it's so much fun to try and imitate.
Yes.
I definitely make sure that I warm up for about 2.5, 3 hours so that I don't hurt myself when I come in and work for 3 minutes.
Yes.
Some
days we have 2 lines for you.
I have this thing this year that all I'm doing is I talk as calmly as possible, because in my mind, I just think that the therapist has told me, don't let on that your daughter's crazy. That's okay, fine, totally fine, honey.
Obviously for me, it's my natural voice, a little bit higher, but I think I early on realized that the energy, like I said, for Candace, it takes so much. It is a workout. So I think season 1 on, I remember doing like, okay, I could do 3-hour sessions. I could do 4-hour. And then finally I was like, oh no, I could only do 2-hour sessions. Like otherwise I get exhausted. And then like Candace is just not Candace. And so, and Dan and Swampy have been always so good to me because I scream so much. We have so many screams in the library. And so I think like maybe do 1 scream each session. And Swampy's we've got years of you screaming. It's fine.
We have a whole file on the computer that's just Ashley screaming.
Short, medium, long, terrified, excited, every type of scream you could imagine.
Yeah, you don't need to scream for us anymore. Save your voice.
Do you have a favorite line or moment from the overall series?
The thing that I hear the most, just because it's become part of pop culture for that generation, is if I had a nickel for every time I blank, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? Which is from the first movie we did. Yeah. And I have a friend who's a professor at a college in the Midwest who texted me out of the blue and said, "Oh my God, I've been hearing people use this bit over and over again in all of my classes for years. And I just finally found out that that's Doofenshmirtz. I had never seen that one." And he was like, "That's you. These people are quoting you when they do this." And, and people have used it online, like the Democratic Party, their official Twitter used, or their official TikTok used that for something recently. And I was like, oh, that one has permeated pop culture in a very weird way.
You've all helped shape the Disney legacy over the course of your careers, and now Phineas and Ferb is reaching a brand new generation. What does that mean to you now, looking back versus when you first started?
When we were doing the first season, I was working just ridiculous hours. I would get in like 8 a.m. and leave at 11 at night, pretty much every day. And I told my ex-wife at the time, I said, I feel like we could make a show that's funny enough to get a second season, and still leave it like 7 every day. But that's not what I'm shooting for. This is like, how often do you get a chance to make your own show? What I'm shooting for is changing the demographic of Disney Channel, because I had been on SpongeBob when it changed the demographic of Nickelodeon. I'd been on The Simpsons when it changed the demographic of Fox. I felt like that's the high water mark that you need to shoot for. And within 3 months of it being on the air, they were already writing articles about how we had changed the demographic of Disney Channel. And to me, that's, it's like I was shooting for that. I didn't know if we would hit it. I just said, like, if I shoot for that, at least we'll get a second season. And it, I think the success really far surpassed what we thought we were going to get.
It's kind of funny for us. When Dan and I first started doing the development here, there was a lot of people at the channel who really liked the show and said it was funny, but had said to us, "I don't think it's going to make it on Disney Channel." It was very different from what was being produced at the time, and the behind the scenes opinion was, it's not really a Disney show. It didn't look like anything else. And it was so wonderful, personally, to a year after the show premiered, to have people tell us that Phineas and Ferb was being held up as kind of the perfect vision of a Disney show. Mm. And that just brought ultimate joy to my heart, because we always thought it was. I always thought it had the virtues that, the family viewing, all that stuff that we grew up with, like people Dan and my age, watching The Wonderful World of Disney. And so to have that turnaround was really, really gratifying, and validated all of the things that we really fought for in the show. So that was just sort of a strange turn.
Consider subscribing if you like this video and get even more entertainment news at popcultureplanet.net. See ya!